Established in 2014, the study program of English Language Education, or S.Pd, Faculty of Cultural Studies, Universitas Brawijaya, to support the two graduate profiles, the English Language Educator and the English Education Entrepreneur. S.Pd sets out the curriculum based on the Indonesian Qualification Framework, Outcome-Based Education, Common European Framework of Reference, Freedom to Learn Independent Campus, or MBKM, covering language skills, pedagogical competence, educational linguistics, and educational literature, which instill the values of inclusion and intercultural communication. S.Pd offers a total of 159 credits for the students to graduate, which consist of 18 credits in general courses, 55 credits in English language skills, 37 credits in pedagogy courses, 13 credits in research courses, and 36 credits in elective courses that cover teaching and educational entrepreneurship, as well as teaching competency courses and educational entrepreneurship. There are a total of 22 instructors consisting of 2 associate professors, 16 assistant professors, and 4 lecturers. Referring to their expertise, they are classified into 3 broad expertise categories: English language teaching, or ELT, linguistics in ELT, and literature in ELT. To foster students' critical thinking and active learning, S.Pd implements the participative and collaborative approach, focusing on case methods and project-based learning, such as student-lecturer joint publications, book writing and publications, the undergraduate conference, or the ELEUC, and structural media exhibitions, micro-teaching, and English camp. S.Pd also contributes to the dissemination of scientific research through the management of 2 biannual academic journals, the Education of English as Foreign Language Journal, or EDU-CAFL, managed by lecturers, and the Unfold Journal, managed by students that specifically publish undergraduate research papers. Students of S.Pd have demonstrated outstanding achievement both in national and international levels, such as in Indonesian International Students Mobility Award by the Indonesian Ministry of Education in Boston, Turkey, and Ireland, the Teaching Program by the Indonesian Ministry of Education, the Japan Design Idea and Invention Expo, the Digitalized International Invention, Innovation and Design, or DIIID, competition held by University Teknologi Mara, Malaysia, the International Sumatra Online Debate Open 2020, the IYIA 2019, or the 6th International Young Inventors Award, and Wintex, or World Invention Technology Expo. The lecturers of S.Pd have also actively contributed to the global academic realm through participating in both national and international conferences in Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, and Japan as keynote speakers as well as presenters. Receiving the gold medal in the 3rd Digitalized International Invention, Innovation and Design, Johor 2020. Receiving the Alumni Grant Scheme Award from Australia Awards. Receiving Learning Innovation for Students with Special Needs Awards from the Indonesian Ministry of Education. Receiving Open and Distance Learning Research Grants from the SEA-MEO Regional Open Learning Center, or SEA-MOLEC. Receiving the Curriculum Cooperation and Implementation Grant from the Indonesian Ministry of Education. Acknowledging the importance of partnership to leverage the quality and the opportunities of study program potentials, we have collaborated with renowned institutions such as SDO, School Development Outreach of Sampurna University, Indonesia, Universitas Negeri Malang, Indonesia, Undisca, Universitas Pendidikan Ganesha, Indonesia, UNES, Universitas Negeri Semarang, Indonesia, Education Offices of Kediri District, Indonesia, AIDRA, or Australia-Indonesia Disability Research and Advocacy Network, Australia, IIUM, International Islamic University, Malaysia,
Hello, my name is Mila. I graduated from Language Education Department, Brawijaya University 2017. Now I'm running my business as an founder and CEO of Lingua English course. My major connected me with lecturers and professors who really helped me develop my passion for teaching. I'm thankful for the experiences I had and the skill I developed here in Brawijaya University. I'm also thrilled that my evolved understanding of teaching has served as the foundation upon which I have built my career right now as an edupreneur. Thank you.
The study program of English language education strives for the global engagement of Indonesian youth through the quality of English language teaching practices, respecting inclusive and intercultural values.
Thank you very much for joining us on this very special occasion and help us kick off the year-long celebration of the British Council's 75th anniversary here in Indonesia.
We would like to invite to the stage our country director. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Summer Sia.
Warm welcome to all schools represented here today to join the British Council Partner School Network. This could be a great start of our collaboration to prepare the youth of today to become the leaders of tomorrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Scott McDonald.
Thank you, sir. Selamat siang, selamat datang. Building connections, understanding, and trust between the people of Indonesia and the people of the UK. And as you just heard, we'll be celebrating the past this week as we launch, I hope, what will be a year-long celebration of our 75th birthday in Indonesia. We opened in Bandung in 1948 and have been here ever since. I think birthdays are a time to reflect, and we should celebrate our strong relationship over the last 75 years. However, the reason I'm so delighted to be here today and to sign this MOU today is that it looks to the next 75 years of collaboration in education, English, and arts and culture. This agreement with our most important government partners provides us a strategic framework that will allow us to continue our long commitment to Indonesia. It should deepen our relationship with the government of Indonesia and redouble our efforts to develop human capital across the country.
We highly appreciate the British Council support in giving assistance to the Indonesian International Students Mobility Award. That is facilitating information sharing session between Indonesia and also the UK universities.
And one of the first logo that I saw was the British Council logo near our house. Congratulations to British Council Indonesia, and this relationship is actually very effective in promoting cooperations, and I like the word that Scott used, collaboration. Our aim is for the two sides to work and collaborate action closer to create opportunities post-pandemic so that we could move the economy and create good quality jobs.
For joining us on this very special occasion and help us kick off the year-long celebration of the British Council's 75th anniversary here in Indonesia.
We would like to invite to the stage our country director. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Summer Sia.
To become the leaders of tomorrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Scott McDonald.
Thank you. So, Selamat Siang, Selamat Datang. Building connections, understanding, and trust between the people of Indonesia and the people of the UK. And as you just heard, we'll be celebrating the past this week as we launch, I hope, what will be a year-long celebration of our 75th birthday in Indonesia. We opened in Bandung in 1948 and have been here ever since. I think birthdays are a time to reflect, and we should celebrate our strong relationship over the last 75 years. However, the reason I'm so delighted to be here today and to sign this MOU today is that it looks to the next 75 years of collaboration in education, English, and arts and culture. This agreement with our most important government partners provides us a strategic framework that will allow us to continue our long commitment to Indonesia. It should deepen our relationship with the government of Indonesia and redouble our efforts to develop human capital across the country.
We highly appreciate the British Council support in giving assistance to the Indonesians International Students Mobility Award that is facilitating information sharing session between Indonesia and also the UK universities.
And one of the first logo that I saw was the British Council logo near our house. Congratulations to British Council Indonesia, and this relationship is actually very, very effective in promoting cooperations, and I like the word that Scott used, collaboration. Our aim is for the two sides to work and collaborate action closer to create opportunities post-pandemic so that we could move the economy and create good quality jobs.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Good afternoon to all of our dearest teachers. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first mentoring session as a part of our Digital Multimodal Literacies event. My name is Dian Inayati and I am your moderator for today's session. First of all, I would like to thank all the participants who have taken their time to join in today's event. It is so wonderful to see a lot of happy faces on screen, and hopefully everyone is in a healthy condition. We are also hoping that you will find today's session both informative and engaging. Our program is funded by the British Council under the title of Digital Multimodal Literacies, which consists of a 2-day online training session, 5-session guided small group discussion, and DIMA awards in which you can participate after you have joined the 2-day online training and the 5-session discussion. This is the flyer for our current event. The small group mentoring session involves 5 sessions. Session 1, which is today, covers briefing and small group division. Session 2 covers topic, material, and digital tool selection. Session 3 covers teaching material outline. Session 4 covers teaching material draft. And Session 5 covers teaching material presentation. Before continuing, I would like to get to know everyone in here better. So please raise your hand if you're from Jawa Timur. Is anyone from Jawa Timur? All right, I see some hand raised here. And what about Nusa Tenggara Barat? Okay, I see some hands here. Thank you. And what about Sulawesi Selatan? Okay, that's nice. And what about Jawa Tengah? Is anyone from Jawa Tengah? Uniken. Zuliati, all right. And please raise your hand if I haven't mentioned any of your place. Anyone that I haven't mentioned, maybe from Bali or anywhere else? All right then. West Java. Busri from West Java, welcome. Okay, it is so great to have everyone across Indonesia here together with us. So is everyone ready for today's session? I hope so, because now I would like to explain some rules for today's session. Number one, please ensure that you have a stable internet connection and are in a quiet environment to avoid background noise. Number two, there will be a Q&A session by the end of the presentations, and the participants may use the chat feature to ask questions using the template question_name_institution_your question. Or if you prefer to ask orally, you may use the raise hand feature and unmute yourself. And number three, please note that today's session will be recorded for future reference. Next, the agenda for today's session is as the following. First, presentation by Professor Zuliati Rohmah. Second, short Q&A session. Third, presentation by Mrs. Dian Inayati. Fourth, presentation by Mrs. Dian Novita. Fifth, short Q&A session. And lastly, group division sharing. Before inviting the first speaker, I would like to invite everyone to fill out the pre-survey questionnaire, which will be shared through the chat box below. We will give you around 3 minutes to fill out the questionnaire. Thank you. As 3 minutes have passed and everybody have filled out the questionnaire, hopefully, we will do a photo session, quick photo session. So can everybody open up the camera and give a big, beautiful smile so my friend can capture today's meeting? Big, big smile, everyone.
Okay, I will take a picture. 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rani. So without further ado, let's begin with our first speaker. It is my pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Professor Zuliati Rohmah. I believe everybody already knows who Professor Zuliati Rohmah is. In case you haven't, you may rewatch our 2-day online training session recording on our YouTube channel. Today, Professor Zuliati will be sharing insights on the topic of lesson staging. During the presentation, if you have any question, you may leave it in the chat box and Professor Zuliati will address your questions after the end of her presentation. And now, please give a warm welcome to Professor Zuliati Rohmah.
Thank you, Dia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
How are you, Ibu Bapak, this afternoon? I hope everybody is good.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I believe that everybody has already joined the first seminar, which is today's webinar. Please raise your hand if you have already joined the previous webinar. Okay, thank you, Pak Arif, Pak Satya, Galaxy, Galaxy. Okay, so I can call you Galaxy maybe. Okay, Bu Ida, Bu Niken. So yeah, I'm sure that everybody has already joined the first webinar. Otherwise, please watch the video so that you have background knowledge on what we are going to discuss today. Thank you. Yeah, okay. Let me start my presentation. I will focus on the first topic today is lesson staging. Can you see my PowerPoint now, everybody?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, as our webinar last 2 weeks, we discussed about how we use some of the applications to support our teaching. Then, to make or to help and to use the application wisely and also effectively, I think everybody needs, or I mean, every teacher needs to make a lesson plan with a good staging. With that, hopefully the application that we are going to implement in our classroom will be effectively used. Otherwise, it will be useless if the staging is not good. That is why then today we are going to focus on this. And after that, Ibu Dian Inayati and Ibu Dian Novita will focus on some of the applications. And after that, we'll move to breakout rooms to discuss the technical things that we are going to do in the mentoring sessions. Okay, now we move on to aims. The heart of lesson plan is the aim. I think do you agree with me that the most important things or the starting point of a lesson plan is the aim? Do you agree with me? Yeah, because it is the aim that we are going to achieve through the activities that we are planning in the lesson plan. That is why let's discuss about aims first. Now, please look at the aims. I have 6 aims over here. Which one do you think is appropriate and which one is not appropriate? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Please look at that, and then maybe you can write it in the chat box. Which numbers are appropriate, which numbers are not appropriate. Okay, thank you for erasing that. Okay, so I'm waiting for your response. Which one is appropriate, which one is not? Maybe it takes too long, yeah? Okay, I have a response over here. 1, 2, 3, 5 are good. Okay, thank you, Bu Ida. 1, 2, 3, 5 are good. Okay. Other response, please. 3 and 5 are appropriate. Okay, later we can discuss why they are appropriate or not. 1, 2, 3 good. 1, 2, 3, 4 are better. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's start by having discussion on this. This is what I'm thinking. Number 1, 2, 3, I think are appropriate. Why number 1 is appropriate? I think because number 1, to make students better able to use the simple present tense to talk about habits in the context of daily school routines. Here we have what language to focus on. That is the use of simple present. And also we have a clear context here, which is the context of daily school routines. So the vocabulary and also expressions, all of this will relate to daily school routines. And then number 2, why I am thinking this is appropriate, to develop students' English ability to describe physical appearance in a detailed way in the context of describing a friend. This is also appropriate because the language focus is also clear. The vocabulary that you will teach to students will focus on physical appearance, can be noun and then adjectives related to physical appearance. And also, of course, grammar focus, yeah, on how to describe physical appearance. And the context is also clear, which is describing a friend, not describing an artist, no, not describing political figures, no, but it is describing a friend. But it's actually it will be much better if, for example, describing a friend to whom? Is it to parents or to other friends or to teachers? I think the way we describe friends to teachers or to parents or to other groups of people will be different. So it is appropriate, but it can still be improved. Then number 3, to provide practice of the use of for and since with the simple present perfect when talking about the duration of a continuing state or action. This is, I think, is also appropriate because the language focus will be the use of for and since in the simple present perfect. Yeah. And then the context is also clear, which is to talk about continuing state or action. Now, what about number 4, 5, and 6? Maybe after listening to my sentence, you change your mind? Do you still have the same opinion, or do you want to change your mind to number 4, number 5, and number 6? Okay, Bu Ida, you mentioned number 5 has no clear context. Okay, very good. 4, 5, 6 inappropriate. Number 4 is too broad. Very good. Okay, thank you, Bu Anissa, Pak Arif, Bu Lilis, Bu Ida. Okay, yeah. So number 4 is for me. Number 4, 5, 6 are not appropriate. Yeah, number 4 is too general to make students speak English well. I think this aim cannot be achieved in only one lesson. Remember, this is a lesson plan. So a plan only for a lesson. A unit of lesson can be 1 meeting, 2 meetings, or 3 meetings. And this aim, of course, will not be able to be achieved in 1 meeting or 2 meetings or 3 meetings. Even this might be lifetime English learning, yeah, to make students speak English well. And then next one, by the end of the lesson, the students will be better able to use the words looked and walked. This is not appropriate either because it's too narrow, too limited, only focused on the word looked and walked. Only 2 words. What can we do in one lesson only by using the word looked and walked? So it's too limited. And number 6, to teach comparatives. This is too broad, yeah. Comparatives about what? In what context? It's not clear. So later, Bapak Ibu, during this mentoring session, you need to make one lesson plan in which you will develop applications, yeah. And then, of course, to make your application effective, then you have to create a lesson plan. So you need to pay attention, first of all, to the aims that you are going to focus on. Now let's look at main aims and sub-aims. In a lesson, you have usually one main aim. And then to achieve that main aim, you need to formulate sub-aims, yeah. Sub-aims here can refer to the aims of each of the stage of the lesson. Let's look at here the main aim, to provide an opportunity for learners to practice the language of making a plan, accepting and refusing suggestions in short conversations while planning an adventure holiday. So it is clear, yeah. So you will provide opportunity for learners so that at the end of the session, the students will be able to make a plan, to accept and to review suggestions in short conversations. Okay, so to achieve this aim, then you need to help the students by doing activities stage by stage, step by step. For example, you might need to help the students so that they will be able to practice using a bilingual dictionary to check pronunciation. For example, after you introduce the vocabulary related to adventure holiday in the next time, then you help them to pronounce it correctly. Then one of your aim can be like this. This is a self-study skill aim and pronunciation aim. So you also help the students to be able to look up the dictionary and check the pronunciation. And then your next aim might be to extend and revise the present continuous to talk about future arrangement. Yeah, because to talk about planning, of course, you need future tense. Then you, in terms of grammar, you will focus on future tense. So this is grammar or functional aim. So you will have stage where you focus on grammar. So these are 2 stages. There are still, of course, to achieve the main aim here, there are some other stages and some other sub-aims. I give you only 2 aims here. Later, you can have more aims to achieve this one. Now, let's look at a lesson outline. For example, this is the outline. this is my lesson, for example. I'm starting by showing a photograph of my new friend. Then I'm going to ask my students to ask me questions about him. For example, who she or he is, where she is from, where she lives, and so on. Yeah, so after that, I'd like them to draw a picture of a friend and do a similar question and answer task, but with their partner. So first of all, they ask me, or I ask them first, and then they ask me, or then they ask their friends, just to practice asking a question. Yeah. Okay. So what is the lesson aim if the activity is like this? Yeah, the aim can be like this: to provide opportunity for the learners to practice asking and answering questions about personal information in the third person in the context of talking about a close friend. So this is a grammar-based aim. So focusing on asking a question using who, she, in the question form, who is she? Where is she from? Where does she live? And so on. This is especially for lower level students. Yeah. Okay, now maybe you formulate your aim a little bit differently. It's okay. Let me show you. Maybe you want to rephrase later. Yeah, I'll show you how to rephrase it. Now let's look at the following lesson. For example, lesson 4. I have quite a challenging talk from the radio about climate change that I want my students to listen to. Yeah, I'm going to start by finding out what they know about the climate change. And when they listen, they should compare their ideas with what they hear on the radio. So this is what I'm going to do in the classroom. So what is the aim? Can you maybe say something, Bapak Ibu? Any one of you would like to say something? How is the formulation of your aim? Okay, let me just to save time. Yeah, the aims can be like this. Can be skills-based aim. Skills-based aim here, focusing on listening first, to give students practice of listening for gist and specific information to talk about climate change. So give opportunity for students here to listen for gist and specific information. Or maybe if you focus on content, to increase the students' knowledge of some of the issues in climate change by comparing their ideas with that of a leading expert. So this is a content-based aim. Or maybe you can have another kind of aim. For example, by the end of the lesson, the learners will be better able to use phrases related to climate change. For example, greenhouses, gases, environmentally friendly or green issues. So this is vocab-based aim. So these all are sub-aims that you can use to achieve this, to achieve the main aim. Yeah. Now let's look at, for example, maybe you are not used to this kind of expression. Yeah. So the first aim like this, to provide an opportunity for the learners to practice asking and answering questions about personal information in the third person. This aim is focuses on the teacher's activity, what the teacher is going to do. That is to provide an opportunity for the learners to practice asking, answering, and so on. If you focus on the students, then you will rephrase your aims like this. By the end of the sessions, the learners are able to ask and answer questions about personal information in the third person in the context of talking about a close friend. So you focus on the students, that you want your students to be able to ask and answer questions about this. here you focus on the teacher's activity, that is providing opportunities for students to practice asking, answering questions, and so on. Both are actually the same. You just focus on the first one, focus on more on teacher. The second one is focusing more on the learners. Now, let's look at this one. Look at the letters over here, Bapak Ibu. Can you understand this? O-Z-O. What does it mean? Is there any meaning of this word? O-Z-O in English? In English? What about if I change the order? Z-O-O. Can you understand the meaning? Z-O-O. What is it in English? Yes. Zoo. Yeah. Zoo. Then if you change the order, then that will be a meaning. What about the next one? I-R-C-H-A, Ircha. What is it in English or in Indonesia? Is there any meaning? Ircha?
Chair.
Chair. Okay. So if you reorder, you put C-H-A-I-R, then you will have the meaning, which is chair, something that you can sit on. What about the next one? R-A-K-P. Can you?
Park.
Park. Yeah. Yeah. Park.
Okay.
Then, yeah. What about the next one? Relier. What is it? Can you understand that?
Player. No player.
Okay, layer. Good. You can also yearly. Bu Ida write yearly. Yeah, layer. What about the last one?
Cinema.
Okay, good. Cinema. Okay, so Bapak Ibu, can you what can you learn from this one? If it is ordered incorrectly.
Wrong order or
Yeah, if it is in wrong order, we cannot understand it. The words do not have any meaning. Similarly to your lesson. If your lesson is not in a correct order, your students might not be able to understand your lesson. Because, for example, the difficult one is in the start of the lesson. Of course, your students cannot do the activity, cannot finish the activity effectively. But if, for example, the most difficult one, you put it in the last stage, you start with a very easy activity in the beginning, then your students will be able to follow your lessons very easily. So your lesson is just similar to the order of the words here. Your lesson will be meaningful for your students if it is ordered correctly, if it is put in a good order. If it is not, then your students will find it very difficult to join your lesson. Okay. And actually, there are many possible ways to set up and carry out a task here, stages in your lesson. We have to give thoughts to the order, especially. And the order is based on what we know about how best to help our students learn. So if your students have known something, please start by choosing that. And then followed by something that your students do not know. And the last one is something that students need to know. Yeah, so put it in a correct order. Now, let's look at here. For example, you have a reading class. Which one will you do first and why? Will you do pronunciation first? Will you do writing first? Okay, Bu Ratna, thank you. Vocab first. Yes, vocab, listening, writing. Is it possible to start by speaking? Yeah, it's possible, but the kind of speaking might not long speaking that your students cannot do it. It's speaking just short one, and it might relate to the previous lessons. That's possible, yeah. Okay, now let's look at a typical order of reading lesson. Typical, but actually you may also order it differently. But of course, the easy activity should be the first before the more difficult one. You may start with vocabulary, for example. You introduce, if the context of today's lesson is about daily activities, then you start by introducing verbs, yeah, related to the student's activity every day. For example, get up, walk, stand up, cook, or whatever it is. Maybe daily activities at home will be different from daily activities at schools. So please make the context clear. And then after you introduce vocabulary, then you need to help the students pronounce the vocabulary, maybe by checking the dictionary, or today you have also digital dictionary, online dictionary. You can just click and then you have the pronunciation over there. It's easier for you right now. And then after that, you might introduce the students with listening text. If the, for example, the topics or the context is about daily activities in schools, then you may give the students about a recording, or maybe students from, maybe up to you, from England, from America, telling about their daily activities. So it will be a real example. And now it's easy for us just to get it from YouTube. Everything can be downloaded over there. And then after that, you might have speaking. The speaking here is not long speaking, but just maybe talking about the activities in a short way. And after that, you might continue with reading text, yeah. And then after reading text, you might focus on grammar focus. You might want to introduce the students with simple present, yeah. And then maybe the first meeting you focus on simple present in general. In the second meeting, you focus on the differences of the first person singular with first person plural, and so on. And then how is the form of the verbs, and so on. And finally, you may focus on writing about daily activities. Can we change the order? Yeah, of course, as long as before that activity, the students have already had enough knowledge or preparation or skills. Okay. This might not only one meeting, but maybe 2 or 3 meetings. So it's up to you. It really depends on the available time. Next, now, if, for example, this is reading activities, I put it in jumbled activities. What is your version? Do you think you will put A as the first activity, or you will reorder it? Please have a look on this. For example, A, teacher asks the students to look at the words and make predictions about what might happen in the story. Will you do it before teacher dictates some words? Or will you do it before students in pairs skim read the text and order a cut-up version of the story? And then will you do retelling and role play before the students read the story again and more carefully to see if any of the predictions correct or not? Do you think it is a correct order or not? Do you have any suggestion of this? For example, H and I. Yeah. Okay, let's look at my version. My version will be this. Class discuss some issues related to the story. So this is just to activate their background knowledge, yeah, about this, the story or the topic of the text. Okay, students, please discuss with your friends what you know about this, and then just discuss in a short way, just to activate their background knowledge. And then after that, teacher dictates some words, and then teacher checks the meaning of some of the dictated words, whether the students have known that or not. And maybe the way you dictate, you do not always do it in conventional way. You can do it while doing a game with the students. You can have different games of dictation. And then next, teacher asks the students to look at the words and make predictions about what might happen in the story. So prediction before reading the story. This is again to activate the students' background knowledge. And then in pairs, students skim read the text, yeah, and order a cut up version of the story. Still not doing the reading, but the teacher give it in a cut up version and ask the students to put it in an order. And then students read the story again more carefully to see if any of their predictions were correct. So after putting it in a correct order, yeah, students can, what is that? Can check it whether the prediction before is correct or not. This might motivate the students. They will be more attracted to the lesson rather than you just read, ask the students to read the text, the books, and so on. And then students and teacher discuss the text in more detail and answer more specific questions about the text. And the students look at some grammar or vocabulary in the text. Yeah, this is vocabulary. It is a little bit different from C. Teacher dictates some words over there. This one is maybe a vocabulary which is specific that you need to discuss in a more detailed way. And then last one, you might give opportunity for students to retell and role play the story. This is one way of organizing or put the reading activities in stages. Maybe you have your own stage, but make sure that everyone has enough opportunity to prepare. Before the difficult activity, then you prepare them with easier activity. Okay, let's look at reading activities. Typically, in reading activities, you have pre-reading activities. So that is to prepare for students before they do the reading. And then you have the activity whilst reading activity. And then you have post-reading activity. So please remember that. This will help the students to be able to read the text effectively, and also they will be able to get the meaning of the text. Now let's look at, for example, we have a vocabulary introduction first. You give the students some vocabulary, women, baby, dad, exchange, still, and so on. And then give some sort of this, and then a picture of baby. If I give you, or if you give your students these words, and then you may ask the students to guess what the reading text will be about. What will happen? What will happen with the baby? What will happen with the woman? Why there is a sword over there? Things like that. You can have a chit chat with the children with this vocabulary. Then maybe after your students guess, yeah, then you will share the cut-up, ask your students to put it in an order, yeah, about the text, The King and the Baby. And then after that, the students read the story, and then we can check whether the prediction of the students correct or not. And after that, the teacher can proceed to the next activity, which is post-story questions. So after the students read, then the students can try to answer the post-story questions, and then having discussion in groups maybe, and then the last one will retell or act out. Okay, so this is just an example of a lesson with stages like that. Okay. Now, as I said before, that the order can be different. My order with your order can be different. Everybody might have different tendency of ordering a lesson. It's okay. The order can be varied, yeah. Maybe, for example, today you start with a game of vocabulary, yeah. Next time you can start with listening game, for example, and so on. So just to make your lessons not boring, yeah, we give variation. So maybe for you, a good lesson is just like meal. For other people, might be a good lesson is like party, or like film, or jumping off a cliff, or growing vegetables, or maybe can be different. For me, a good lesson is like a meal. For me, yeah. For you, may be different. I like to start with something light but interesting, then move on to the main part of the lesson, and then I like to finish with something sweet. It can be a game or poem or song, so that the students will bring us good memory of the lesson, and hopefully they will expect to have English lesson. They want to, oh, kapan ya kelas bahasa Inggris lagi? Kapan ya kelas bahasa Inggris lagi? Saya suka dengan game yang seperti kemarin, and so on and so on. So this is to help the students to expect the future lesson. Maybe for you, good lesson like jumping off a cliff. I don't like the lesson to be predictable. If the lesson is predictable, so usually you have always the same activity. Selalu begitu. It is predictable, but maybe you don't like that. So if you don't like that, you need to make variation. If it is predictable, like it to be very exciting, and you never know how it will end up. Kadang-kadang menyenangkan gitu. And when you come out, you will never forget the experience. Menyenangkan, dan kemudian after that, you do not know what will happen, but everything is just exciting. Maybe you like this kind of excitement of jumping off a cliff. So you can arrange your lesson in this way. Okay, so I think that is my session. What can you learn from the session? Anyone would like to say something before I finish the session? Or I can stop here. Okay, Pak Arif Bulan, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Nice presentation and nice material for us. You know, doing planning a lesson plans is very hard. I think as a teacher of Curriculum Merdeka now, because we are going to make design a differentiated learning in the class, differentiated learning or differentiated instruction. So how we can make a lesson plan with differentiated learning in activity in the class. Thank you, Prof.
Okay. Yeah. So do you think you have inspiration later on to create a differentiated learning?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, okay, thank you. Yes, Kurikulum Merdeka, I think, give us more freedom, yeah, on how we create our lesson, on how we design our lesson. So this is what we are going to do in our mentoring session. We are going to create one lesson plan. Hopefully from this you can create your other lesson plans, especially in which you can apply some applications using application technology, digital applications. Yeah. Okay. Should we proceed to question and answer? I think we have already, yeah, we have already done the session. And before that, let me share one more thing. This is about our, sorry. I would like to show you actually Google site and also, yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, thank you, Julius. Maybe we can go to Digital Multimodal Literacy over there. And then we have digital material over there, Bapak Ibu. And then we have down here, we have lesson plan. So starting from next meeting of our mentoring session, you will produce a very simple lesson plan like this. The most important thing is that you have clear learning objectives here, and then maybe pre-activity, and then main activity, and follow-up activity or closing stage here. So please, when you try to put the stages of your activity, then you always try to think whether the students are ready to go to your stage or not. If the students you think are not ready, then you have to help them by providing some activities, or can be in the form of games, that you will learn a lot from this, yeah, from this mentoring session later on. Okay, thank you. Julie, we can go back. And then these are some of the application that this lesson, this is especially a video recorded by Julie. Oh, Julie is actually our students, but he has already done practice teaching, and this is the lesson plan. And in the lesson plan, the applications used in only 40 minutes time. Julie uses Mentimeter and then quizzes and Padlet. So later on, Bapak Ibu, you will focus on the application that you will use, especially based on the lesson plan that you are going to design later. Okay, yeah. Everybody, I think you can try to open it. Yeah. And I think this is all my session. Later, the mentor and also pendamping mentor will also help you to go to this more specifically and more detail. Thank you very much. I will return it back to moderator. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Zuliati, for the informative presentation. We will proceed with a short Q&A session. Is there any question for Professor Zuliati? You may type it in the chat box or raise your hand. We have one question from Pak Arif Bulan. The question is, what is digital multimedia literacy?
Okay, yeah, actually we have already explained that in the previous session. So please, Pak Arif, maybe you can refer back to our video, yeah. But I will explain it a little bit in a short way here. Multimodal literacy is that literacy, the student's ability not only in reading or writing, but it is also listening, speaking, and also to solve problems. So their ability to use the available knowledge, the available information out there, can be from the internet, can be from books, can be from any sources that they can get to solve their problems. And they solve their problems based on the knowledge, yeah. And the knowledge can be obtained by reading, by listening, and so on. So to help the students increase their literacy, then we can use different modes, yeah, different modes of communication. Last webinar, I've already explained different modes of communication, yeah. Spatial. What else? Do you remember that? Oral, gestural, yeah. What else? Yeah, so there are some modes over there. And if we, as teachers, use all of these modes in our lesson, it means that we promote multimodal. So we increase the students, improve the students' literacy by making use of all the modes of communication. And especially nowadays, these modes of communication can be enhanced by using digital application. That's why then multimodal literacy is often termed as digital literacy, and sometimes it is combined into digital multimodal literacy. So that is the term of digital multimodal literacy. Thank you. Hopefully it will help. And if it is not clear, maybe you can refer back to our video that the link we have already shared. Thank you. Hopefully it helps.
Thank you, Prof. My next question is, are the same between multimedia literacy and multimodal? Multimedia and multimodal. Thank you.
Yeah. Basically, multimodal literacy, mode here refers to mode of communication. Multimedia, media refers to the media where we can communicate, we can teach to students, yeah. If we teach not only using one media, we use more than one media, then it becomes multi. So for example, we not only use one application, we use more application, for example, then it will multimedia, using more than one media. And then if the media that you use is digital, yeah, can be using mobile phone, can be using your laptops, yeah. It is digital, then it becomes digital multimedia literacy. So these terms are basically interrelated. Media, you focus on the media that you use to communicate, you use to improve the students' literacy. Modes here, modes of communication, oral, spatial, and so on. That is, hopefully it can help.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you, Farif. Okay.
Thank you, Professor Zuliati. There is another question from Ibu Ida Ayu. The question is there any tips to make a good aim?
Okay. Yeah. We maybe you remember with the term A, B, C, D, Ibu Ida. A, audience. So you remember who is the audience? The audience is students. So what you expect your students to do? B, behavior. What behavior that you expect your students to achieve? Whether they whether you want your students to be able to speak, if it is in language class, yeah, or to listen, to read, or maybe to behave in certain way. For example, you want your students to be truthful in doing something, then it is also behavior. C, criteria. So criteria. What is the criteria that you can say whether your aim is achieved or not? For example, the students will be able to read the story about King Solomon, for example. So the behavior is read, the context is about King Solomon, and then you plus the criteria. Well, for example, or correct in a short time, or maybe, so it's up to you, the criteria, maybe pronounce correctly if it is loud reading, or you want them to speak fluently, whatever it is, so it is criteria. And then D means degree. So whether you want your students to achieve the aim, to get, for example, if they do the evaluation, for example, if you want your students to answer the questions, whether you want the students to answer it correctly 100%, then you can say that it is achieved, or it is okay if your students can only answer it correctly 80% of the questions. So that is a criteria of a good aim. Usually you use A, B, C, D. Thank you. Thank you, Bu Ida. Yes.
Thank you, Professor Zuliati. There is actually one more question from Pak Syahirul. Are we going to answer this now or maybe later?
I can answer it very shortly. If
okay, the question is how to decide or determine the sub-aim, Prof.
Okay, yeah. You start with the main aim, Pak Syahirul, yeah, and then you think about if the students are expected to achieve that aim, what kinds of skills or sub-skills that they need to do. For example, if we look at if the students are expected to be able to retell a story, do you think they can just retell it? I think we have to think about what vocabulary the students should master. Then we have to make vocab aim. The students should acquire 15 vocabulary related to story. And then you mentioned the vocabulary 15, for example, at least 15. And then in addition to vocab, what else that you think the students should acquire before they can tell a story? Or the students should be able to pronounce the vocabulary correctly. And then you have sub-aims related to pronunciation. And then you might think, in order to be able to tell a story well, the students should know the grammar focus, the sentence pattern. And then you tell them, or you prepare them, you teach them, you give them examples of sentences that can be used by students to tell a story. Then you focus on grammar. Then you create a grammar-based aim. So that is how you formulate the sub-aims. You can imagine that to be able to do that, the students should be able to do in terms of vocab, what kinds of vocab, in terms of pronunciation, in terms of maybe sentence pattern, or and so on. And you can do that to, for example, vocabulary introduction, or language focus, other language focuses, or maybe grammar focus by using different kinds of activities. Not always in a very serious way. You can insert some of the games inside the activities. So you can always make your lesson fun by having different kinds of activities in your lesson. I think that's what I can answer, Pak Sahirul. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Zuliati, for your comprehensive responses and for engaging with our audiences. And before we proceed, I would like to kindly remind everyone to rename yourself with a real name to assist the teams in assigning everyone to a breakout rooms later. If you haven't done so, please do so. We will give you about 1 minute to rename yourself. And now let's move on to the second speaker of today's event, Mrs. Dian Inayati. Mrs. Dian Inayati was also one of the speakers in our previous two-day training session. Her presentation today will focus on the topic of Pear Deck. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mrs. Dian Inayati.
All right, thank you very much, Dia, and welcome back, Bapak Ibu. It's a pleasure to be here today, to see you all again today in this mentoring session. So I'm thrilled to find Bapak Ibu here because when you decide to join the mentoring session, it means that you really want to learn. Okay, so we are going to learn together. Okay, so not only you actually, okay, but we also, the mentors, okay, would be learning together, okay, how to improve our ability, particularly in developing digital multimodal materials. So my focus here, okay, if you still recall our last session, was on Pear Deck. Okay, so I'm dealing with the same topic today. But first of all, let me know your impression on Pear Deck. So what is the impression that you could get from Pear Deck based on our last discussion on the last session? Okay, you can send a chat. You can send a text in the chat box. Okay, thank you, Burida. It's easy to use. That's good. Thank you, Budini. Anyone else? Okay, all right. Well, the reason why I'm presenting Pear Deck here is because this is one of the applications that is mostly chosen, okay, by Bapak Ibu, okay, who have registered, okay, for this mentoring session, and that's why I'm here today, okay, together with Bapak Ibu to give you a much more hands-on practice, okay, on how to be able to integrate our materials into Pear Deck. Okay, but is there any one of you, Bapak Ibu, who haven't had the account, Pear Deck account? Please raise your hand. Who hasn't got the account? Maybe after the last session ends, okay, you started having the account, okay, but is there any one of you? Oh, okay, Pak Arif, noted, thank you. Okay, is there anyone else besides Pak Arif? Okay, yes, Budini. Okay, that's good. Thank you. That's all right, thank you. Okay, well, thank you, Bu Ida, and then who else? Bu Ratna. Okay, Bu Sri Ratna. Okay, on your impression regarding Pear Deck. Okay. Okay, thank you, Bu Ida. It's good that you have already had the account. Okay, Bu Henny haven't got the account. Okay, that's okay. So today we are, okay, ada beberapa yang raise hand. Okay, thank you very much, Bapak Ibu. Okay, that's all right. So that's why today I'd like to start showing you again how to open up the account, okay, before we before I demonstrate, okay, how to integrate the lesson, the material into Pear Deck. So if Bapak Ibu happens to use Pear Deck, to use a laptop today, okay, so you can use your laptop, okay, and so that we can practice it together. But if you don't have your laptop with you right now, that's okay. You can watch the recording, okay, after the session ends, okay, so that you can practice it yourself. All right, now I'd like to go here. Okay, so to open up an account, okay, by the way, can you see the screen, by the way, Bapak Ibu?
Yes, ma'am, you can
Okay,
see the screen.
Thank you, noted. Thank you, dear. Okay, so the first thing that you have to do, Bapak Ibu, is to go to the Pear Deck website. Okay, let me share you the link. Okay, so you can click on the link that I have just shared there, okay, to access Pear Deck website. Okay, so Bu Rida, okay, Bu Dwi, Bu Rida, okay, yep, okay, you have already had the account. That's all right, that's good. Okay, so you just need to start with the Google slide. All right. Okay, have you accessed the link, Bapak Ibu? Have you clicked on the link? Okay. So once once you've clicked the link, so you will find this website. It's on Pear Deck. Okay. So on that website, okay, you will be required, okay, to choose your role as a teacher, as a student, or more options. Of course, we will click on teacher. Okay. Okay, and then you will be required to choose your account. Okay, I've created an anonymous account here, okay, to help me demonstrate with you how to open the account. Okay. Okay, so once you are connected, so you will be required to insert the postal code and the school. But don't get confused with this postal code, because actually this postal code refers to the postal code in the United States. So if you insert your region's postal code, Pear Deck will not respond. Okay, so let's just type in this code, 52240. And then you will be directed to a list of schools that are available within this postal code region. But to make it easier, so just type in my school. Because we don't teach in any of those schools, right? Okay, so the easiest way is by simply type in my school. Okay, so once you've inserted the postal code and the school by writing my school, do not hesitate to click on this link. So you might be wondering, but Ibu, it's get started with premium, but I don't want the premium account because that means that I have to pay. So don't worry. So in this case, okay, if you read this carefully, look up your school below to start your 30 days of unlimited access to all of Pear Deck's premium features. You can still use our free features or upgrade to keep premium access when your trial ends. Okay. So don't worry. So you are given 30 days access to the premium version, okay, so that you can try out any features that are provided with Pear Deck, okay, for at least 30 days. But once the 30-day session is over, you are still allowed to access the free version. Okay, and don't worry, I have been using the free version for very long time, and so far has been so good. I don't have the premium account. Okay, so yeah, and that's what we are going to practice today. Okay, so click on Get Started with Premium. Okay, and voila. Okay, you have your account here. So your account is ready. So once you, okay, so once your account is ready, so the next thing that you have to do is to open the Google slide. Okay, you can go to Google slide and open the Google slide. Okay, or okay, you can also use the same account. Okay, sorry, you can go back to the Pear Deck website and you can click create a lesson. Okay. Okay, be patient, Bapak Ibu. It takes a while. Okay, it's still loading. Okay. It's taking a while. Let me just check the Google slide. So this is the Google slide. Let me refresh this. Okay, my apologies. Simply there's a little bit of internet connection issue. Okay, hang on, Bapak Ibu. Okay. Okay, sorry. Okay, so now we can, to make sure whether Pear Deck has been added into your Google slide, our Google slide, so we can click on the extension. Oh, okay, not yet, I don't know. Okay, sorry, Bapak Ibu, hang on. Okay, there it is. Okay. Okay, so once you've got the account, okay, you've already signed up, then you will find your Google slide like this. Okay, so we can check here, extension, okay. When you can find this sign, Pear Deck for Google Slide add-on, it means that your Google slide has been integrated with Pear Deck. Okay, so we can click on this, okay, and open Pear Deck add-on. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, we still need to install it. I don't know why the process is taking quite slow. My apologies, Bapak Ibu. Okay. Okay, let's check again. Okay, for the extension. Okay, open. Okay, it's there. Okay, so when it's successful, so you will find the Pear Deck features, okay, next to your Google slide. So let's go back to my previous Pear Deck slide that I presented to you a few days ago. Okay, and so for example, we'd like to start our lesson with this slide. So we'd like to tell our student the topic of the lesson, the level, the objectives, or the sub-aims. Okay, and also we'd like to insert some links. Okay, so let's practice it together. So if we go back to this, okay, so the first thing that you have to do is go to template, our template library. So you can click on this. Okay, so you can choose any templates available here. But if you like to use the previous one that I've just shown you, so I chose this one. Okay, I choose this one and I click on this. Okay, I select this one. Okay. Okay, so this is the original template from Pear Deck. I haven't made any modifications yet. So what I'd like to do, okay, I'd like to just simply copy paste this one, sorry. Okay, so you can simply type in to change the wording. Okay, what I do is I will just, okay, hang on. Okay, so I will just change the words here with the ones that I have already made earlier. So you have it, okay. Maybe to, oh, sorry, to save the time, okay. I don't fix the layout, okay. But maybe when you practice it yourself later on, okay, you can also fix the layout. Okay, but at least you have already get the idea of how you can modify the template from Pear Deck, okay, to suit with your own needs. Okay, now on this slide, I inserted a link. Okay, so the link is from British Council. Okay, so what I do, okay, as you can see here, the instruction here is different, right? When we go to the original template, it says students follow the instruction on the slide. But in this case, I want to change it with a different instruction because I want to give a website, a link. Okay, so what I do is that I go back to the template library. You can find here the special features, the text, choice, number, website, draw, and draggable. So what I did was I clicked on website because I was going to share you the link to British Council. So what I did was I click on this and I remove this. Okay, so it's gone now, but I click on website. Okay, next. Okay, so on this page, you will be required to insert the link to the website. So I go back to British Council. Okay, I copy paste the link. Okay, and I send it here. Okay, and update. Okay, so as you can see here, Bapak Ibu, the instruction has changed. Okay, into the one with the link. Okay, that I ask my students later. Okay, to click on. Okay, to access the material. Okay, let me know if you have problems about Ibu so that I can stop myself. Okay, to give you more guidance. Okay, so that's the first slide. Now let's move on to the next slide. Okay, I will go back to my previous Pear Deck. Okay, now I'd like to insert this. Okay, I'd like my students to tell me how they feel. So where should I go? Okay, so I go back to my Pear Deck slide, and then this time I will go to template library again, and I will choose this one. Okay, we have beginning lesson, during lesson, and lesson. Okay, so let's click on this. Okay, so there you go. So if we go to the templates provided by Pear Deck, this template is actually presented at the end of a lesson. But just like what Prof. Zuliati said, we can modify our lesson, okay, based on our sub-aims and objective. So for me, okay, it's important for me to know how my students feeling, okay, at the beginning of the lesson, before the lesson starts. So I decided to move this template, okay, from the end of the lesson as recommended by Pear Deck, okay, into the beginning of the lesson. Okay, this one. Okay, I don't make any change here because this exactly matches with my intention. Okay, that is to know my students' feelings, so I don't make any change here. Okay, next, let's go back to the next one. Okay, oh, this one. Okay, so on this slide, we ask our students to write something. Okay, and again, the template has been provided for us. So this time I will go to okay. This time I will go to social studies. If you go to the bottom, Bapak Ibu, you will find more templates, and the templates are arranged according to the subject areas. Okay, like for children, and then if you happen to teach math, okay, so you can click on the template available here: science, social studies, world languages, and ELA. This is related to English, okay, English language. But of course, we are free to choose any template we like. Okay, so don't stop yourself from accessing other templates from other subjects. Okay, even though you don't teach math, even though you don't teach science, you are still allowed to access the template. So no worries. I usually find a lot of new ideas, okay, when I access templates that are probably not related with English subject. Okay, so this time I choose social studies. Okay, and I found that, okay, oh, this is the template that suits for my lesson. So I click on this. Okay, be patient. Okay, there you go. Okay, but again, I'm not going to ask my students to draw a map. Okay, if we go back here, I asked my student about their breakfast. What did you have for breakfast this morning? So what we need to do is just change the writing. Okay, this time I'd like to type it down. Or let me just change it into lunch. Okay, what did you have for lunch? Okay, and there you go. So you just need to do a little bit modification, okay, and then you will have the template, this modified template ready to use, okay, for your lesson. Okay, the next slide would be this one. Okay, I'd like to know my students' opinion. I'd like to open up a discussion about the importance of breakfast. Okay, so what I did, okay, can I need lampau? Okay, what I did again, I went to critical thinking. Okay, so I went back to the template library. So I found a category template for critical thinking. So I click on this. So this, okay, hang on. Oh, sorry, I choose the wrong one. Okay, it's actually, hang on. This is beginning lesson. Sorry, it's not at critical thinking. It's beginning lesson. Okay, this one. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have put it there. Okay, sorry. I go back here. Okay, I click on beginning lesson and I found this one. Okay, when I check this, oh no, okay, it doesn't fit with my lesson. Okay, so I need to modify the template. So I changed the writing here. How was the homework assignment? Okay. Okay. Oh, sorry, not that one. Okay, my apologies. What I do? This one. Okay. How important is breakfast for your health? Okay, so I simply change it. Okay. how important is breakfast for your health? Okay. If you like to stick on the images here, okay, the thumbs up and thumbs down images, that's okay. But I'd like to change it. Okay, I'd like to change it with these two words, important and unimportant. So yeah, what I did was I simply remove here. Okay, hang on. Okay. Okay, oh, my apologies, Bapak Ibu. It seems that I chose the wrong template. Okay, there is actually a template where I can just modify the words. Okay, but I'm sure that you can explore it on your own here at the template library. Okay, my apologies. Okay, but basically you can modify it. Okay, you can even change the images here with the images from the internet. Okay, so you can find more appealing images, okay, related to the question that you raised here, and then you can simply replace the images, the already available images on the template with the ones that you found on the internet. Okay, let's go back here. Okay, and then okay, yeah. Okay, this is another sample if you like to ask questions for your students. Okay, and then I'd like to use this one. Okay, again, I go back to the template. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, I found that in the critical thinking. There it is. Okay, I click on this. Okay, and then of course I need to modify some of the writings here to match with my lesson. Okay, so I go back to my, okay, because it's about breakfast, so I just simply rewrite the tagline there, okay, with this question: what dish do you like or dislike for breakfast? So I just simply change the tagline here or the title here. Okay, and then I simply write I like and I don't like, okay, to change this one, my point of view, another point of view. Okay. So it's totally based on your needs. So what do you need for your lesson? What do you need for your students? Okay, what do you ask your students to do? Okay, so you are simply allowed, okay, to modify the templates in such a way, okay, to meet your students' needs. Okay. Oh yeah, the next one that I'd like to show you is when you are going to insert materials from a different source. Okay, so like this one. Okay, I took this exercise from British Council website. Okay, and how did I do this? Okay, so let's demonstrate this together, Bapak Ibu. Okay, so the first thing that I did was I went to, let's go here. Sorry. Okay, I went to social studies. Okay, so you can pick any slide that you like. Okay, sorry. Okay, you can pick any slide that you like. Okay, so I picked this one. Okay. Okay. The reason I picked this one is because it gives us a wide space, okay, for us to insert a new material. And then once it's ready, then I go to British Council website. Okay, so this is the site where I took the material, okay, for last session. Okay, it's about how to make perfect pancakes. Okay, and then there's a worksheet here. So I click on the worksheet, okay, and it leads us to this one. Okay, so this is the worksheet, okay, from the British Council. Well, if you happen to have another source of reference, okay, for your material, so you can also use it, okay. But in this example, okay, I choose the one from British Council. Okay, so let's see, for example, I'd like to, okay, let me go back here. Okay, so I'd like to choose this one. Okay, so this one, right? Okay, the vocabulary and the definition. So what I did, okay, so I copy paste this one. Okay, I took a screenshot, okay, of this exercise, and then I go here. I go to the template, okay, the Pear Deck template, okay, and I insert the picture that I have just taken.
I'm sorry for the little interruption, ma'am. We
Time
have
is up.
around 5 minutes left.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, let's just click on this. Okay, there you go, Bapak Ibu. Okay, you have the material ready for you. Okay, this exercise is ready for your students. Okay, and you don't need to do anything. You don't need to type it manually. Okay, it's exhausting. Okay, so what I did, okay, I simply took a screenshot of it. Okay, and I moved it to Pear Deck. Okay, template. Okay, one last template that I'd like to show you here. Let's see, for example. Okay, this one. Okay, if you compare this is my account, okay, and this one is the new account that I've just created. As you can see here, actually, there are differences, okay, and one of the significant differences is related to these features, draw and draggable. So draw here means that you give opportunities to your students to draw something, okay, like in this example, okay, matching. I give my students matching exercise. So I ask my students to draw by writing on the answers here, or maybe they can use lines. Okay, it's up to them. So that's what the draw feature here works. But in the free version, you cannot use this feature as you like. Okay, if it is already provided in the template, okay, that's okay. But if it is not provided in the template and you want to use it, like in this template, for example, so what I will do is that, okay, I will just remove this one, okay, remove this instruction, and then I will go to one of my previous slides that require my students to insert drawing, okay, like hang on, like this one. Okay, we go back to the previous one. Sorry, it's quite slow here. Okay, so I copy paste this one. Okay, copy paste, and I move it here. Okay. Okay, so there you go. So you can simply change the instructions. Even though in the free version, you may not find this drawing feature freely, but you can still copy it from the other templates. Okay, I hope this brief tutorial will help you and encourage you to use Pear Deck to integrate your materials. So thank you very much, Bapak Ibu. Back to you, Dea.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Dian Inayati, for sharing your expertise with us. Now, let's move on to our final speaker of the day, Mrs. Dian Novita, who is also one of the speakers in our previous two-day training session. Her presentation today will focus on the topic of Bamboozle and Quizwhizzer. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mrs. Dian Novita.
Oke, thank you, Mbak Dea. Selamat siang, Bapak Ibu, see me again. Okay, but in different context. But Bapak Ibu, so today I have this opportunity to share with you again about Bamboozle and Quizwhizzer, but I skip for the game kit because we practice a lot about game kit with the mentor in a group discussion, in a group activities. So Bapak dan Ibu, in today occasions, I would like to share with you all about how to implement Bamboozle and Quizwhizzer in class activities. So allow me to share the link. Wait for a moment. Okay, so Bapak dan Ibu, so the link that I will share using Wakelet. So in this moment, I also try to create my materials using Wakelet. Okay, Mbak Dea, Bapak Ibu, can you see the screen?
Yes, we can see your screen, ma'am.
Thank you, Mbak Dea. Okay, so for today, I would like to share with Bapak dan Ibu how to use Bamboozle and also Quizwhizzer in teaching phrasal verbs. So in this moment, my context that I want to share with you is phrasal verbs. So using this Wakelet, I create another space, okay, Bapak dan Ibu, and I also give you the background, the head background about the phrasal verbs. And then, okay, let's jump into the materials. So fortunately, Wakelet has already collaborated with Canva, Bapak dan Ibu. So if you prefer to create this kind of picture, so that's already provided Canva, yeah. For example, like this, Bapak dan Ibu. But the mentors, our mentors will guide Bapak dan Ibu later how to play with Wakelet. So what I provide here, I use Canva to create the title about phrasal verbs, and then I also start with our teaching materials with learning objective, as you, Bapak and Ibu, already practice a lot with Professor Zuliati how to create effective aims or learning objective. So let's start with learning objective, how the students will get after finished these materials. And then we can give the warming up by watching the video. It's actually a lyric video because I just want to focusing on the lyrics. So you just click and then your students will listen to the music, okay, and you can start with giving the instruction focusing on the lyrics what you get from the song. Okay.
If you ever find yourself stuck in the middle of the sea,
audible? Is it audible?
I'll sail the world to find you. If you ever find yourself lost in the dark and you can't see, I'll be the light to guide you. Find out what we're made of.
Okay. Yes.
When we
so
are called to
focus
help.
by why I play this lyric video, because I want to highlight the use of phrasal verbs. So we can start with video about one of the songs. Maybe Bapak dan Ibu already familiar with this song, Count on Me. And then we just highlighted about the phrasal verbs count on. Okay. Then we also can ask the students go to the next about the materials. Okay, Bapak dan Ibu. So the materials, Bapak dan Ibu also create your own materials, okay, by providing the worksheet. So you can attach here in the form of PDF, okay, in the form of PDF. So then Bapak dan Ibu, you can attach here, or Bapak dan Ibu also can provide the website. Just copy the website and then paste the website, okay, okay. So I take, sorry. Yeah. The way how to attach the link, Bapak dan Ibu, you just find the plus symbol, okay? The plus symbol, wait, sorry, the plus symbol, and then Bapak dan Ibu, you can click the plus symbol, okay? And then that will be appeared like this. So Bapak dan Ibu just paste the link here, and directly will show this kind of interface, Bapak dan Ibu. So when the students click, okay, so using Wakelet can be done independently or also guided by the teacher, and also can be done synchronous or asynchronously. So for example, that Bapak dan Ibu using Wakelet just like a PowerPoint, okay, so show the Wakelet and then click this link, and that will be appear to the students from the projector, and the students can also learn with your guide about the phrasal verb. Okay, then after the students learn a lot about phrasal verbs, giving more exposure about phrasal verbs. Now we go to the group activity. Okay, so group activity that students will do, we can use Bamboozle, Bapak dan Ibu. So we just click, okay, the same things, yeah, just copy the link in the available space by clicking the plus. Okay, click the link and your students will find the Bamboozle. Okay, so if you want to play, click play, and then in this, because it is free versions, Bapak dan Ibu, so we just only have this opportunity play for free, yeah, while for the others, that's for premium versions. But for a group activity, I think that's enough for using Bamboozle in group activity. Bapak Ibu bisa klik. Okay, in a free versions, we just only form 4 groups, Bapak dan Ibu. Ya, hanya bisa membuat 4 kelompok saja. Okay, now let's play together using Bamboozle. So I will divide Bapak dan Ibu into 4 groups. How to define? Okay, just because I have 44, so 1 to 4. I'll mention later how to play. Okay, so four teams, and then we go to the classic one. Yeah, jadi there will be 4 groups, Bapak dan Ibu, like shown here in this. Yeah, group 1, group 2, group 3, and group 4. Okay, now I will invite the participants. Okay, so actually
group 1 up to group 5. Yeah, we have 5 groups, but that's okay. Group 1. Let's start with group 1. Let me call Bapak Sihabudin. Bapak Sihabudin, are you there?
I think Pak Sihabudin is asking for permission to do some praying.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you for informing me. While, what about Bu Fitri? Bu Fitri, for group 1, would you like to choose any number here on the screen? Okay. Or Bu Ida. Bu Ida, are you? Bu Ida, are you? So, Bu Ida wants to choose one of the number here.
I think in the chat box we have Bu Irawati, Bu
Oh,
Dian.
I see. Sorry. Yep. Oh, okay. Bu Ira. Okay. Number 3. Okay. Okay, thank you, Bu Ira. Number 3. So let's check for number 3. Okay, Bu Ira and group. Would you like to finding out the phrasal verbs and what's the meaning of the phrasal verbs? I tried on the search. So which one is the phrasal verbs? Okay, try on. And what's the meaning of try on, Bu Ira? Yeah, would you like to, you can unmute. Okay, try on. Mencoba. Thank you, Bu Ida. Okay, let's check the answers. Check to see if they fit. Okay, so that would be, if you have the right answers, okay, so the group will get 15 points. Yeah, the group will have 15 points, and that will be go on for the following groups. Yeah, group 2, group 3, group 4, and everyone can choose. Every group can choose freely for any number on the screen. And before answering the questions, so they can discuss together with the team, okay, to answer the questions, and then they can give the questions, okay, to the teacher, and then let the teacher to check the answer whether it is correct or incorrect. If it is correct, so the team will get 15 points. If it is incorrect, so that 0, okay. So this is for the bamboozles in a group working. So you can grouping, because in nowadays, yeah, in English, sorry, in English, so particular school still implemented gender-based approach. Okay, so joint constructions of field can be done in a group by using bamboozle applications. This is a gamification tool to gamify the activities, and the students will be happy to do group working, okay, using this kind of application. Okay, so back to the Wakelet, Bapak dan Ibu. So after group working, so Bapak dan Ibu, then you can direct your students to individual activity by using Quizwhizzer. So by clicking this one, okay, clicking in a Wakelet, so that will be directed to the Quizwhizzer. So how to create the Quizwhizzer? Actually, I have informed you before in the today's sessions, yeah, webinar series. So today I just want to implement how to use phrasal verbs in learning activities using phrasal verbs. Later, Bapak dan Ibu, if you want to create more about phrasal verbs. So we can discuss in the meeting too for the sessions, yeah, mentoring sessions. Okay, so I have provided the questions, okay, and Bapak dan Ibu. So this is the setting, okay. When you create, so if you have a correct answer, move one, correct answer, move once backward, okay, one space. But you can create by your own. You can decide by your own. If you it's in the form of big appreciations for the correct answer, you can add 2 spaces. Okay, the students can move 2 spaces forward if they have a correct answer, and 2 spaces backward if they have incorrect answer. You have your own decisions to have that. Then I can give this click to start. Sorry. Oh, I need to sign up. Okay. Wait for a moment, Bapak Ibu. What happened? Okay, let me sign up. First, using the as a teacher. Let me find the account. So I've created a account, Bapak dan Ibu. Oh my goodness. Okay. I apologize, Bapak dan Ibu. Teacher. Oh no. Okay, but Atnia, would you like to share me the link that I've shared you before? Sorry, Bapak dan Ibu.
All right,
So I
ma'am,
need
wait a
to.
moment.
Thank you. Okay, Bapak dan Ibu also will see. Okay, would you like to share the link in a Zoom, chat Zoom,
Oh, okay, ma'am.
Mbak Nia? Okay, yeah. So here it is, the link. Yep. So Bapak dan Ibu, so yeah, Quizwhizzer can be done individually, also can be done in a group, in a project. Yeah. Quizwhizzer also provide many questions type. Okay, Bapak dan Ibu, you can also just based on the needs. Can be multiple choice or true and false or drag and drops. Yeah, that's also provided by the link. Okay, so let's start with the activity. Click the start. Okay, what's going on here? Okay, so I'm a teacher. Oh, because I haven't used a different devices. Okay, then let's start with starting very beginning. Okay, yep. Sorry, continue. Okay, so here the game options. So if you prefer to have randomized questions, so you just click on. If you prefer, because the question is already giving the number 1, 2, 3, and so on, just skip for these options. And if you prefer to have repeat questions, for example, because the games or the road that will be long, okay, far away. So, and you just provide only 10 or 20 questions while the road takes 30 spots. So you can give a repeat questions. So no need to complete all the questions, okay. I mean, you do not need to provide all the routes, okay, for the spots, but you can use repeat questions. But if you prefer to have only to provide the different experience for your students in answering the question, so you can also provide all the questions. For example, that it has a 30 spots, so you can provide 30 questions, and you can skip for the repeat questions. Okay, review questions after finishing if you prefer for that one. So you can click answer the strict power up. Okay, just to boost the students in or encourage the students in your activity using Quizwhizzer. And also if you prefer to show the correct answers, so you can also click. If you do not, so you just skip for that one. Okay, and then I just provide once, okay, for students to have the chance answers. Yeah, so no one account, one play. And for the avatar collection, so this is also interesting that we boost your students to join to choose the avatar, okay, as the character when they play the in using Quizwhizzer. So there are many choices, Bapak dan Ibu. So we can dock, okay, variety of dogs or anime. You can also click if you prefer for this one, or Akhyar, okay, or Alexa, okay, or anime, or Aaron, or animal, okay, so many others avatars, okay, then we can provide for the students. Okay, for example, let's start with let's choose Mario character. Mario character. Okay, and if you prefer to have this avatar, you can choose, okay, and you can start to go. Yeah, and then as a teacher, you are going to wait your students to joining with you, okay, in this Quizwhizzers. I'll copy the link in the chat. Yeah, in the previous activity, I just provide in a very short time, but let me show you how to Okay, play with Quizwhizzer. Bapak dan Ibu, you can click the link that I provide in the chat box, and you can also start to choose the avatar, okay, to join with this game, and then let's to answering the questions to be a winner in this Quizwhizzer, and that would be interesting and attractful. These gamifications, yeah, to answer the questions. Okay, Bu Nifa, Pak Syahirul already joined with the very cute character avatar. Okay. Okay, Bu Mia, Bu Fitri, Bu Nisa, Bu Laras. Okay, now let's start. Let's start for the play. Okay, it's already, and for the later player, for the late player, you can join events. I have already started the game. So we can see here the moving progress, yeah, the moving progress of the students who successfully answer the questions correctly, yeah, successfully answer the questions. So we can see from these spots, okay, until they got the finish line, yeah. Yeah, the question is about the phrasal verbs. After the students learn about the phrasal verbs, so like the students assessed their understanding about the phrasal verbs. Okay, nobody move. Nobody moves. So in a gamifications, one of the characteristics of gamifications also provide the leaderboard. Yeah, it's to appreciate the students' work, okay, by showing the leaderboard. But if you do not prefer to have this one, so do not show the leaderboard for your students. So that's based on the need of your class. Okay, and the music you can stop if you do not prefer to have the music, but I think it's kind of also special mode, yeah, for the students to have the feel or the atmosphere, the vibes of competing using this Quizwhizzer. Okay, so that's Bapak dan Ibu. Okay, I won't stop for this play, so you can play using Quizwhizzers. But let me just go on to the Wakelet. That after individual activity, okay, after individual activities, so your students, you can come up into, you can wrap the learning activity by reflections. Okay, in the reflections you can also provide soft music, okay, and then ask some questions, okay, ask some questions related to what our activities today, and then the class is ended. The class is ended, and that's all for today's. I think that's all. Mbak Dea, that's all for me. Let me stop share. Back to Mbak Dea.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Dian Inayati, for sharing your expertise with us. Before we proceed to the Q&A session, we would like to remind you to please rename your username using your real name to help us assign you to the breakout room later on. Okay, so now it's time for our Q&A session. As mentioned previously, if you have any question, you may type it out in the chat box or raise your hand and unmute yourself. Does anyone have question regarding Pear Deck, Bamboozle, and Quizwhizzer? Bu Masriatu Solihah, please, you may please ask your question.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for the committee for the chance given. So sorry because I was late coming to this forum because of I have another things to do, preparing my daughter before going to the dormitory this evening. And after joining for in the last session, I think I have question for both speaker, Ibu Dian and also Ibu Dian Inayati and also Ibu Dian Novita, I mean, because both are Dian. Okay. Ibu, to be frankly, that those application, those gamification is quite new for me myself because I have never used this those application before in my class because so far I am actually it is quite a shame because actually I am a lecturer and I am teaching speaking and it makes me never use this kind of application. So my question is what technology, what kind of apps that can be used or I can take benefits from the technology in teaching speaking, especially in teaching with this kind of multimodal literacy and also in the setting of by using the approach of project-based learning. That's it, Ibu Dian. Thank you. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah. Allow me to answer firstly, Budian Ina. Maybe Budian Ina will complete my response. Thank you, Bu Masri Atus, for the questions. Yeah, for speaking activities, actually many tools. Okay.
Sudah kenyang.
Okay, sama-sama Bu Rida. Many tools can be used to give an experience for the students, okay, in speaking activities. While for these gamification, actually prefer to have just like for listening. Okay, the students, we can also attach listening, and then the students will answer the questions based on the audio that they listen using a Quizwhizzer. Okay, but for Bamboozle, just focusing on visuals, visuals, and also written, in the form of text or passages. While for speaking, we can also use Duolingo. Duolingo also can be accessed using Android, okay, Android based or computer based. Duolingo can be used for speaking activities, and also but mostly speaking activities tools that provide for speaking activities have high bandwidth, Bu Masri Atu. But so that's depend on the needs also, and also depend on the activities created by the lecturers or by the teachers. While actually even these gamifications cannot cannot record the students' voices, but actually in a face-to-face class, in face-to-face class, you can also ask the students to speak. For example, bamboozle. Okay, so we provide the picture and ask the students to describe the pictures. Okay, in a bamboozle, ask the students to describe the picture. So that's speaking activities. Yeah, that's also create speaking activities for students using bamboozle. And like in a Wakelet, okay, in Wakelet also we cannot record our students' voices, yeah, but then we can also provide the visual attractions of visual or pictures, and then ask the students to what's that, describing, or the students can also record or make a vlog, okay, and then the students can also upload the video using through Wakelet, okay, you can do that, or through bamboozles, and then that will be followed up by another activities. You can do that by 4 speaking activities. Yes, so I think that's what I can share with Bu Masriato. Maybe Bu Dian Ina can add more.
Okay. Thank you, Budia Novita. Okay, I think Budia Novita has already mentioned a number of beneficial tools that we can adjust to help us in as a medium to teach speaking. But in addition to the tools, I also like to introduce you to ELSA. Okay, so ELSA is also a new tool. Okay, that's beneficial for speaking, particularly for pronunciation practicing. So you can invite your students to practice their pronunciation by making use of ELSA. Or even if you are not familiar with all of those tools, you can simply make use of the already available tools or the social media that you've been familiar with, Ibu. Like, for example, I use iPhone. I have Siri on my iPhone. Okay. I usually ask my son, okay, to practice their speaking, okay, by using Siri. So we can send questions, any questions, okay, orally, okay, to Siri, and Siri will respond. Okay, so that would be another way to help our students practice their speaking. If we are going to use Pear Deck, okay, I recall last time, okay, there was a question from one of the participants. The participants asked about the possibility to use Pear Deck for speaking, because at that time, I highly encouraged teachers to use Pear Deck, particularly to encourage students to type in their response, okay, especially for students who are hesitant to speak up. Okay, so actually we can still create a lesson, a speaking lesson with Pear Deck. Okay, allow me to show you the example. Okay, so this is one of the, can you see it, everybody, Bapak Ibu?
Yes, Ibu Dian, it's clear already.
Thank you, Bu Masria. Okay, so this is one of the examples of the templates, okay, that I modified, okay, from Pear Deck, okay, for my to encourage my students to speak up. So in this case, I created this instruction. I asked my student to find someone in their class who loves pancakes, who can make a pancake, who doesn't like breakfast, who enjoys fried rice for breakfast, and who likes his or her porridge mixed. So that when we use this Pear Deck for our offline class, okay, so we can still present this slide, okay, in the class, and then we ask our students to move around, to find someone, to interview someone in their class, okay, so that they can able to fill in the table. Okay, so once they have collected enough data, okay, from their oral interview, so they can write down their report, okay, on Pear Deck, okay, so that we can see all the results, okay, of their interview, okay, through Pear Deck. So we don't need to ask students one by one to come to the class, okay, to read the result, okay, the report of the interview. Or if you still have time, so we can have some representatives, okay, from the class, okay, to present the interview report, okay. But through Pear Deck, actually, you can do this, okay. So you can simply create an instruction that encourage or require students to make use of their speaking ability, okay, and then they can present their results on Pear Deck. Okay. I hope that answers your question, Bumar Atus. Okay, so back to you, Dia.
Okay, thank you for the answers. And now we have another question from Bu Ida Ayu. How can the students access our Pear Deck slides? Do we give them a code to let them participate? So Bu Dian Inayati, please.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so yeah, actually I should have clicked on start lesson, okay, but because of the limited time, okay, I didn't have an opportunity to do that, okay, but thanks to Guida's question, so now I am able to present this to you. Okay, so once you finish with your Pear Deck lesson, first don't forget to change the title. As you can see here, the presentation doesn't have any title yet. Okay, so you need to change the title. Let's say this is for, according to the topic, is on food. Oh, sorry, it's on breakfast. Okay. For example, for class 7. Okay, so you can type it any way you like. Okay, based on your based on the name of your lesson. Okay, so once it's ready, you can click on start lesson here. Okay, so you have two options here. The first option is the student-based activity. So this works for assignment. Okay, so for example, you've already designed this Pear Deck slides, and you'd like to share this to your students, but you do not want your students to do it in class. So maybe, for example, your school doesn't require the students to use their mobile phone. So in that case, you can turn this into homework. So you can ask your students to do it at home. So what you need to choose then is this student-based activity. So you click on this. Okay. Right. Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Google asked me to re-log in several times because I changed my Google from Azianasha into my original Google. Okay, sorry what I do. Okay. So once it's like this, okay, hang on. Why it's not this? No, usually it's not like this. Sorry, Bapak Ibu. Okay. Oh, this one, sorry. Okay, this is the code. Okay. Okay. So what you need to do, Bapak Ibu, is to copy join link. So if you use the premium account, you can have the direct access to Google Classroom, just like on the icon here on my right. However, suppose that the premium account has already expired and now you are using the free account, don't worry. You can still do that. Okay, what you need to do is just copy the join link. Okay. So copy the join link and then you share it to your students in WhatsApp group, for example, if you have a WhatsApp group, or you can also share it to your Google Classroom. Okay, if you have a Google Classroom. Okay, so you can find the link in the chat box. Okay, so that you can so that your students can access it. Okay, so that's for homework. Okay, now for your class, again, you go back here. Okay, you click on Start Lesson. Okay, and if you like to present this in your class or alive with your students, so you need to click on instructor-based activity. So you can click on that. Okay, and then you will find the link, and then you can simply share the link to your students. Okay, so as you can see here, so I click on give students a link. Okay, I share it in the chat box. Okay, or you can share it to your students. Okay, and then you just wait how many students have access the link. Okay, then you will find the notification here. Maybe Bu Ida or maybe Bu Mastia or anyone would like to try. Ah, that's good. Okay, we have one student connected here. Okay. Okay, so you can wait until all of the students have already connected. Okay, then you can start the class. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Ibu Ida. Okay, back to you, Dia.
Thank you, Mrs. Dian Inayati and Mrs. Dian Novita, for your enlightening responses and for sharing your knowledge with the audience. Due to the time, we would like to end the Q&A session here. For any other questions you may ask it in the WhatsApp group later. And now we will move on to the group division, and I would like to invite Mrs. Dian Inayati to lead the group division.
Okay, thank you very much, Dia. Theo, would you please share the grouping? Okay, thank you. My pleasure, Bu Ida. Okay, thank you, Bu Masviatus. Yes, okay, we hope that we can squeeze in the session, Pak Sahir. Okay, Bapak Ibu, as the name of our program here is the small group mentoring session, and we would like to give Bapak Ibu more opportunities to be able to experience how to integrate materials into digital tools. Then we decide to divide you into smaller groups. Okay, so we have group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, and group 5. Okay, for group 1, you might be surprised, to find this great number of participants. Okay, but don't worry. In the next session, you will be split into 2 different groups. Okay, all right. So please check your names here. Okay, so once you found your name, you will be invited to join the breakout room. So inside the breakout room, you will find your assistant, the mentor assistant, who will give you a more detailed explanation regarding what you are expected to do in each session. Okay, is there anyone of you here, Bapak Ibu, who could not find your name here on the list? Okay, I hope everybody has already found the name. Okay. Pak Satya Ali, have you? Okay, so you are on group 4. Thank you, Pak Satya Ali. Okay, thank you. Okay, so the admin will invite you to go to the breakout room. Okay, just wait for them. Okay, to take you to the breakout room. Okay, and we will go back to the main room. I believe 15 minutes from now. Okay. So hopefully before 4, we can finish this session. Okay. Mentor assistants. Okay, I think you can invite your members, okay, to your breakout rooms.
Okay, from the group 1, you may stay in the main room.
Do you have problem, Agnia? You are still here?
Okay, I'll start for the group 1. So, good afternoon, Bapak Ibu. Okay, thank you for joining the mentoring session until right now. So today, before we start the explanation, let me introduce myself. My name is Haris Mandrianto, as the assistant of the mentor. Our mentor in group 1 is Mrs. Professor Zuliati Rohmah. And here my name Leo as the assistant of Professor Zuliati Rohmah. So today I would like to demonstrate the other application that that can use to make the learning tool. So I think we can use I can use the game kit for joining the learning tools. Okay, may I use Indonesian to explain to you, Bapak Ibu, so that you can know it better and I can explain it friendly. So I will share the screen about the game kit first. Wait a minute. Oke, jadi Bapak Ibu, nanti di sini kita akan sebelum memulai pada demonstrasi di game kit ini, kita mendaftar terlebih dahulu Bapak Ibu. Pastikan kita sudah memiliki akun di aplikasi atau website game kit ini gitu. Nah, kita di sini bisa sign up for free di sini. You can choose the Google or you can sign up with the email address. I use the Google because it's simpler. Okay, while logging in, you can choose the new kit or new project here to make the material or the project here. Nah, di sini Bapak Ibu bisa menamai projectnya, namanya apa nanti bisa ditulis di sini. Untuk bahasanya juga bisa dipilih. Kita karena guru bahasa Inggris, di sini kita memilih bahasa Inggris. Untuk namanya di sini kita menulis nama projectnya mungkin sebagai contoh General English saja. Nah, di sini Bapak Ibu bisa memilih cover untuk kegiatan nanti atau fotonya begitu. Nah, di sini Bapak Ibu silakan memilih yang paling menarik menurut Bapak Ibu. Nah, di sini saya memilih ini. Nah, setelah kita masuk di sini Bapak Ibu bisa memilih menambahkan pertanyaan atau membuat flashcard. Di sini saya mau menambahkan pertanyaan. Nah, untuk pertanyaannya Bapak Ibu bisa menambahkan dalam bentuk teks, foto, audio, atau equation. Nah, di sini saya mau menambahkan yang teks terlebih dahulu. Mungkin pertanyaannya simple saja. What time is it? Saja ya. The correct answer is 15:46. And you can mention it, you can add the other. Okay, you can add it. Nah, saya sudah menyiapkan di sini beberapa pertanyaan yang telah saya buat tadi untuk mempersingkat waktu, Ibu Bapak Ibu. Bisa dilihat mungkin di sini. Sebentar, mungkin tampilan saya berbeda. Saya stop share terlebih dahulu. Nah, apa sudah muncul Bapak Ibu? Nah, di sini ada beberapa materi di sini yang saya buat. Di sini saya pernah membuat yang English ini. Nah, kita bisa lihat dulu pertanyaan-pertanyaannya di sini, dan apabila Bapak Ibu sudah menyimpan, dulu pernah membuat lalu menyimpan, nah itu tidak akan hilang Bapak Ibu di sini. Jadi di sini ada beberapa pertanyaan yang pernah saya buat. Untuk ini sebagai contoh, di sini ada pictures of people take a bath. Here the question is, I always blah 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 at 6 o'clock in the morning. Dan di sini ada beberapa pertanyaan yang hampir mirip gitu Bapak Ibu. Nah, apabila kita sudah mengisi atau membuat pertanyaan-pertanyaan tadi, lalu kita klik all down. Nah, di sini ada dua pilihan. Bapak Ibu mau memainkannya di kelas secara langsung atau meng-assign untuk dikerjakan di rumah sebagai homework. Bisa juga. Nah, kita sebagai contoh saja kita bermain secara langsung ya Bapak Ibu. Oke, di sini kita dapat memilih temanya seperti apa. Di sini ada tema One Way Out, Capture the Flag, and Fishtopia, Classic, Themes, and etc. Okay, I think I use the Fishtopia here. And then you can click continue to the next page. Nah, di sini Bapak Ibu bisa menentukan juga untuk permainan ini mau dimainkan berapa lama dalam play live ini. Nah, karena waktu kita singkat, mungkin kita bermainnya 2 menit saja ya Bapak Ibu. Nah, untuk ininya paper question-nya juga bisa diatur untuk dapat ikannya nanti berapa gitu, karena ini berbasis permainan atau game based learning. Nah, di sini Bapak Ibu juga bisa men-setting apabila ada siswa yang telat, Bapak Ibu silahkan untuk join atau tidak gitu. Apabila tidak, kita unchecklist di sini. Apabila diperbolehkan, kita checklist saja. Nah, selanjutnya kita klik continue untuk memulai pada game kita kali ini yang play live. Nah, sambil menunggu nanti Bapak Ibu juga bisa join ya menggunakan link yang akan saya kirimkan di grup di kolom chat. Wait for players. Nah, ini mungkin Bapak Ibu bisa join di sini. Saya kirimkan di grup chat ya. Oke, Bapak Ibu bisa klik the link and join the game with me. Atau juga bisa menulis kodenya di sini. Nah, Ibu Niva sudah join ya. Nanti sekalian juga ibu-ibu dan bapak-bapak bisa berlatih juga untuk melihat bagaimana game kit ini bermulai. Nah, Bapak Abdul Muid juga sudah join. Nah, untuk memindah-mindahkan karakternya bisa menggunakan tombol panah yang ada di laptop ya, apabila Bapak Ibu menggunakan laptop. Namun apabila Bapak Ibu menggunakan HP, juga bisa memindahkan menggunakan digeser-geser gitu di layarnya. Nah, di sini sudah bisa bergerak untuk layarnya. Nah, oke, di sini sudah ada Ibu Ida, sudah ada SpongeBob juga. Nah, langsung saja ya kita mulai Bapak Ibu karena kita sudah banyak ini yang join. Kita start game di sini sebagai player juga. Nah, di sini selama permainan dimulai, Bapak Ibu bisa menuliskan menjawab pertanyaan yang ada di sini di question and answer station. Nah, di question and answering station ini Bapak Ibu klik enter untuk dapat mengisi jawabannya di sini. Nah, sebagai contoh di sini, how many watermelon slices in the pictures below? Di sini ada 5 ya, kita pilih 5 watermelon slices. Nah, apabila benar, kita nanti akan mendapatkan 5 poin gitu. Tergantung poin yang akan kita setting sebelumnya. Take a look at the picture below, which one is red? Nah, itu yang red. Nah, kita selanjutnya juga bisa, kita coba bikin salah ya Bapak Ibu di sini. I always bla 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 at 6 o'clock in the morning. Kita jawab go home sama mama. Nah, di sini juga terlihat nanti kalau jawabannya incorrect Bapak Ibu. Nah, di sini juga bisa dilanjutkan untuk pertanyaan di permainannya atau kita bisa keluar untuk memulai game yang lain. Maksudnya di sini adalah bermain gitu, karena ini menjawab pertanyaan. Kita keluarkan saja ya. Di sini kita mencoba untuk memancing karena di sini base-nya karena game, kita di sini juga bisa memancing di sini Bapak Ibu untuk mendapatkan koin karena kita juga men-setting koin yang akan kita dapatkan begitu. Nah, dengan Bapak Ibu mepet ke dalam kolam ini, lalu Bapak Ibu klik enter. Nah, di sini akan mulai mancing. Nah, setelah mancing di sini kita akan mendapatkan poin. Di sini uang kita mendapatkan $10. Kita fish again, kita mancing lagi. Nah, kita mendapatkan $1 gitu. Dan masih bisa terus berlanjut itu. Nah, lalu kemudian Bapak Ibu juga bisa memilih di sini mungkin mau membeli topik-topik pancingnya. Nah, karena gamenya tadi kita setting selama 2 menit, jadi otomatis permainannya akan berhenti pada menit kedua, begitu Bapak Ibu. Oke. Nah, di sini tadi sudah disampaikan atau sudah tertera di sini ya Bapak Ibu, kita tadi mancing mendapatkan dua ikan gitu. Tadi kita belum sempat jual, jadi belum sempat mendapatkan cash di sini, begitu Bapak Ibu. Nah, sebenarnya game kit ini menurut saya cocok untuk anak-anak dalam pembelajaran dan mungkin bisa menjadi kurang cocok juga pada anak-anak. Nah, menurut saya, pandangan saya sendiri pribadi, game kit ini lebih pada permainan yang mana bisa Bapak Ibu gunakan untuk warming up sebelum pembelajaran dimulai, begitu Bapak Ibu. Jadi anak-anak sebelum memulai pembelajaran di kelas Bapak Ibu, sebelum memulai kegiatan belajar mengajar, Bapak Ibu bisa memulai pembelajaran menggunakan game kit ini sebagai warming up yang mana akan menggugah semangat siswa untuk bermain dan belajar bersamaan, gitu Bapak Ibu. Nah, begitu saja mengenai game kit Bapak Ibu. Seperti simpel saja sebenarnya. Nah, mungkin dari Bapak Ibu dari game kit ini apakah ada pertanyaan? Oke. Saya rasa cukup ya Bapak Ibu untuk game kit ini, dan Bapak Ibu sudah memahami saya kira mengenai game kit ini. Lanjut mungkin kita membahas mengenai guidebook yang akan saya share screen nanti ini, dan nantinya guidebook ini akan di-share kepada Bapak Ibu di grup nantinya. Oke. Nah, di sini mentoring session guidebook. 5 online session mentoring program. We have 5 meeting here for the mentoring session. Okay, so the first mentoring session or the first session is today, the briefing and small group division. And the second is topic material and digital tool selection. And the third, teaching material outline. And the fourth, teaching material draft. And the fifth, teaching material presentation. Nah, di sini Bapak Ibu bebas untuk menentukan sessionnya ini tanggal berapa sesuai dengan kesepakatan dari Bapak Ibu sendiri gitu, karena nantinya dalam topik-topik atau dalam session-session ini akan ada pembahasan mengenai topik dan material yang akan Bapak Ibu gunakan dalam pembelajaran nantinya, dan nantinya akan mendapatkan feedback dari mentor kami. Di grup 1 ada Ibu Profesor Zuliati Rohmah. Nah, di sini kita tentukan saja Bapak Ibu untuk tanggalnya apabila Bapak Ibu berkenan untuk join gitu ya, karena ini pastinya akan menambah insight baru kepada Bapak Ibu semuanya. Nah, untuk section 2 besok Bapak Ibu bisa memilih tanggalnya, mungkin bisa ditulis di kolom chat Bapak Ibu untuk tanggalnya, nanti kita akan diskusikan begitu. Nah, di sini di topik 2 nantinya Bapak Ibu akan mempresentasikan lesson plan yang mana terdapat topik, tujuan dan juga materi, dan juga digital media yang akan Bapak Ibu gunakan, serta Bapak Ibu di sini akan mendapatkan feedback dari mentor untuk materi yang Bapak Ibu pilih itu. Nah, selanjutnya di session 3 ini Bapak Ibu akan mendapatkan feedback juga terkait slide board-nya yang terkait dengan materi, yang mana materi itu sudah terintegrasi dengan digital media. Selanjutnya pada sesi keempat di sini teaching material draft, Bapak Ibu di sini mempresentasikan teaching material yang mana sudah terintegrasi dengan digital media dan yang nantinya akan diberikan feedback oleh mentor kita gitu. Selanjutnya di sesi terakhir Bapak Ibu akan diharapkan mempresentasikan digital multimodal materials-nya kepada partisipan, yang mana Bapak Ibu bisa memilih untuk materials-nya ini Bapak Ibu mau bekerja sendiri atau secara kelompok, namun untuk presentasinya nanti akan one representative atau satu perwakilan saja tiap-tiap grup gitu Bapak Ibu. Jadi kita membebaskan Bapak Ibu untuk membentuk grup apabila Bapak Ibu mau membentuk grup, dan apabila Bapak Ibu berkenan untuk individual work, kami perbolehkan juga Bapak Ibu. Nah, mungkin di sesi 2, 3, dan 4 ini kita tidak membatasi Bapak Ibu mau berapa kali di sini sesinya, dan Bapak Ibu juga bisa berdiskusi mengenai tanggal-tanggal berapa saja yang Bapak bisa laksanakan atau Bapak Ibu bisa join dalam mentoring session kali ini gitu. Nah, mungkin saya buka diskusinya Bapak Ibu. Bagaimana Bapak Ibu, apakah sesinya nanti akan kita bahas nih untuk sesi kedua, mungkin tanggal berapa ya, Juli. Bapak Ibu bisa memilih antara tanggal 8 atau besok sampai tanggal 31 juga bisa, atau bebas Bapak Ibu mau tanggal berapa saja.
Sebaiknya kayaknya kita ditentukan dari sana saja tanggal-tanggalnya. Ya, yang penting mungkin di waktu-waktu di bawah jam 14 mungkin ya, sore gitu.
Bapak, kita terima untuk masukannya. Nanti bagaimana Profesor? Apakah kita menentukan jadwalnya, dan dari saran dari Bapak Sihabudin untuk jamnya nanti di bawah jam 2 sore begitu, Pak? Sabtu pagi, bagaimana Bapak Ibu? Oke, mungkin kita akan
Sabtu jam berapa kira-kira kalau Sabtu pagi?
Bapak Ibu bisanya jam berapa? Kita akan memprovide sesuai dengan Bapak Ibu sendiri yang menentukan begitu. Baik, mungkin kita akan bahas di grup ya Bapak Ibu. Untuk yang ini nanti saya akan bagikan link grupnya, nanti akan ada di grup yang DNC mentoring session. Di situ nanti akan dibagikan beberapa link grup yang mungkin Bapak Ibu bisa join kepada link-link yang akan diberikan nantinya. Baik, terima kasih Bapak Ibu. Saya kembalikan lagi ke Mbak Dian.
Okay, we may wait for a minute so everyone can come back to the main room.
Halo. Mohon maaf saya baru masuk ini ke masing-masing ya. Masing-masing room ya.
Okay, has everybody? Okay, is everybody here now? Not yet. Okay.
Some of us.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Pak Hendra. Okay. Thank you very much, Bapak Ibu, for
staying here, okay, until the very last minute, okay, of our program today. And as you all know, okay, from the breakout session discussion, okay, that in each session, okay, you will be required to do some things, okay. So starting from preparing your material and then creating the draft, okay, until the final draft, okay, of your digital multimodal material. And it's very important, Bapak Ibu, to create that product, okay, because that will be one of the main requirements, okay, for Bapak Ibu to receive the 32-hour certificate. And also another benefit is when your material is uploaded, okay, onto Google site, okay, for everyone to see and for every English teacher to use, okay, so that would be another added benefit. And the last benefit is when your material would be potentially nominated, okay, for DIMA Awards. Okay, so we are looking forward, okay, to your active participation, okay, in each of the sessions, okay, so that by the end of the mentoring session, we all hope that you are finally able to develop your own digital multimodal material that you are going to make use of for your students. Okay, so thank you very much, Bapak Ibu. Back to you, Dia.
Thank you, Ms. Dian Inayati, for leading the group division and for sharing some important informations. As we come to an end of this session, I would like to thank all of our amazing speakers for their captivating presentations and engaging discussions. I would also like to thank all the participants for their active involvement and antecedent questions. We hope that today's session has provided everyone with clear guidelines for the next mentoring sessions. Before we end today's session, we would like you to fill out an attendance form, which will be shared with you through the chat box. We will give you around 2 minutes to fill out the attendance form. And with that, that is the end of today's session. We look forward to seeing you in the future. Take care and have a wonderful day. I'm Dia Laraiba signing off. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you, Bapak Ibu.
Present.